Good morning, garden hobbyists. Welcome back to a beautiful day in sunny North Yorkshire. Today we're going to be looking at potting on some of our tomato seedlings, but I want to say a big thank you first to everyone who watched my last video, which was 8 seeds to sow in late February. Response fantastic. Welcome to all the new subs and thank you for liking. Again today, if you get some value from this video, please do like and hit that subscribe button. Let's go and get the seedlings. Right, here we are back in the bedroom, and if you remember, this is where we left our seeds to germinate. So what we're going to do is have a good look at what's happening. I'll take the covers off all these trays, and you'll see we're actually doing pretty well. A quick reminder, these ones are the chilies. These are 5 weeks old. In Yorkshire, I always find chilies quite difficult to grow. I do it every year, and everywhere it's hard, so we'll see how we get on with those. Tomatoes are much more successful. However, you'll see that they all are, and there's a great example here on these romas. Oh, those ones there. These are very spindly, very long. Now, why is that happening? That's happened because this time of year, there's not a huge amount of daylight, particularly in the north where I am. And it's quite a small window, to be fair, but it's the only one I've got that's got a ledge. Now, because the daylight's quite low, the plants are stretching out towards the light, and they're growing tall and thin and spindly. And this happens with all seeds. The only way you can prevent that this time of year is if you grow them with grow lights above them. Now, it's obviously an investment. I haven't bought any, so mine are going to do this. But tomatoes have a trick up their sleeve, and you can save them and you can pot them on, which is what we're going to do today. So, we're in the potting shed, and as always, the first step is to set up ready. You will appreciate from the scene up in my room a moment ago that this is only some of the seedlings. Now, I don't need to pot them all on today. I'm only going to pot on the bigger ones. And actually, that means only 3, not 4 varieties because the Gourmandia aren't ready yet. So we're going to be doing the Roma, the Ruby, and the Principal. There you go, those ones. So there's 2 pots of each, and we're going to be going different numbers of each plant. Now, for the greenhouse varieties, so the ones obviously going to go in the greenhouse over there, I want 4 plants at the end of each, so I'm going to pot on 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3 sets of 5, and then an 8. The Ruby, that's the Ruby, tomato Ruby, those ones are blight resistant, so they're going to go outside in the main garden in one of the beds. I haven't decided which one yet. Next weekend I'll pot on the Command and probably a few of the others too, because we have a village plant sale here in May, and I always pot on extra tomatoes for that. So more to come. I won't waste all those seedlings, but for now that's it. But as always, the first job is the soil. So we're going to be using this soil here. So unlike the potting soil, this is a potting or general mix, and I'm going to be using a mixture of soil which is 3 parts to compost. This is obviously a peat feed compost, and some perlite. I've shown you this before, but once again, there's the perlite I use. Perlite is a volcanic rock. It does nothing other than aerate the soil. It doesn't hold any water, but aerates the soil. We'll look at the vermiculite in a minute, which we'll put on top of the tomatoes for moisture. So my soil's prepared. What I always do when I'm potting on is fill the pots first. And with this lovely new stuff, that is very, very easy. So what I need to do is fill the pot. I'm just going to do that with every single one of them, and then I'll show you how I'm going to plant the seedlings on the second using a lollipop stick. So come back to you in just a sec. Okay, so the compost is now all full in my pots, like that. Now I've filled them all pretty high, as you notice, so if you're following along, do that too. And the reason for that is when you water them, it will sink down a little bit. Okay, so that's why it's like that. Now the very next thing you need is that. There you go. This is just a lollipop stick, something similar, a stick. You need a stick. So the stick is for making holes in the plants. I'll show you the first couple. So all I'm going to do is make a little drill like that in the tomato pot, and you'll see at the top there. I just flipped the camera around, so I know I've definitely got that right. So there you go, a little drill. And this is for the tomato. I'm going to do this on all of them. And basically what I like to do, because I'm, kind of a systems guy, I like to have everything set up. So I do this on them all, and then when I'm ready, the idea will be the tomatoes will just pop in these little holes. And the hole's nice and deep, which we'll talk about in just a second. And then this allows the actual potting on bit not to take very long at all. So follow me through and I'll come back to you when I've got all these done. So there you go. All my pots are now set up and ready to go. You'll notice I haven't watered these yet. That is on purpose. The soil's moist, to be fair, so it's already got some moisture in it, but we'll do the main watering afterwards, but very carefully. So now we need to move on to the tomatoes. Now, crucially here is pay attention to the plants you have, so that when we get them in the pot, we can label up as we go. So I'm going to sort out my labels and then I'm ready to plot on. Now, after much prevaricating, setting up, we are ready to get to the tomatoes. So here we go. So, as you see, long-legged tomatoes because of a light, although today I'm getting blinded by it, so you couldn't tell. We need to use our stick. So, stick. I am going to very carefully, and it is a bit careful because whilst I do have a tripod, I can't zoom in, zoom out by myself, and unfortunately I'm by myself today. So I'm one-handed, very carefully, I'm going to ease the tomato out. Now, I don't want to disturb the root too much, and these two, as you can see, are actually quite close together. There you go, easing them out. Now, you're supposed to hold them gently by the root, but quite frankly, I am always very gentle. I think these ones are going to be okay if we just gently ease them apart. A little shake. Sorry, I need 2 hands to separate them. So, there you go. So that's the tomato plant. You can just see the secondary leaves coming through, a long stem, and then just get the focus right, it's very bright, and a root. Now, back to our pots and holes. What we want to do is we want to try and get that root in as deep as possible in that hole, which is why I used the lollipop stick. There you go. So, that tomato plant now, can you see I planted that in all the way down deep. Now, all I need then do is just gently firm up the soil around the tomato. Now, I'm going to put a bit more soil in a minute. I've done them all. There you go. So that tomato is now plotted on nice and deep in its pots. Now we do the same thing for all of them, one at a time. But that's the basic principle of tomatoes. Every time you pot them on, and I'll get at least probably one more pot on before I put them into the beds, you plant them deep, and in the beds you plant them deep. So ultimately the root gets this sort of deep in the ground. The more root you have in the ground, the stronger the plant's going to be. The less like it's going to topple over. The more nutrients it gives for tomatoes, all the things. Which is why I pot them deep. And because they've got these lovely little hairs on the side of the plants, they grow into roots. So you can plant them nice and deep, and it's beneficial for the plant, structurally, nutritionally, it's great. So make sure you plant your tomato very deep. Now, I'm going to get on with this, and I'll come back to you when I've got them all plotted up in the pots there. Okay, so the potting on is done. There we go. So all the tomatoes are now in the soil, all labelled up. As I said, I forget otherwise. And there's one more thing we want to do. As always, I want to put some vermiculite on the top. So that's this one. Get into the potting shed, ignore the mess at the back. I'm planning on setting up some more beds over there, so I'm collecting the compost for that. So that's the reason for those. Now, we've spoken about this before. This is the vermiculite, and that's what it looks like there. It is essentially a volcanic rock. This one is spongy to texture, and because it's spongy, it will absorb and keep some moisture. So it's great to go on top of your plants, pots just like this, to keep them, there you go, to keep them moist, which is what I use it for. So I'm going to cover those up, and then I'm almost done today. So the last step with the tomatoes is to water them. Now, I'm using a watering can here without a spout on, as you can see, because you've got to be super duper duper careful at this stage. You do not want to get water on tomato leaves. It burns them. So, or rather, the water doesn't, the sunlight burns them when they're wet. So I am doing it this way. I'm watering next to them. There's already plenty of water in there. I have to move those trays around a bit. And that'll be them finished. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do today is just dispose of the used compost from these pots. Nothing goes to waste. I'm going to pop those in the compost bin, so around this way. So around the back is my composting station. I built this last year. And this is what I'm currently filling. So I'm just going to empty the one there. I'll lose that one. There you go. This needs turning, as does the other one actually. Other job. Well, the last thing I would do today is to show you the seeds we've sown previously in the greenhouse there, and also look at pincing out some of the Sweet pea. So into the greenhouse we go. Now, it's only been a week for most of these plants, seeds rather. There's not a huge amount of action, however. Just taking the top of this one. This is the one of the Cosmos. I expect the tall Cosmos, but look, they're rocketing along, so they're doing really, really well. And the other one, the leeks are starting to show. You can see them on the camera just about. Those ones were sowed 3 weeks ago though. And the other ones are these, which are the broad beans. You can see they're just starting to come through. So we've got some progress. And then if you remember, we've got 2 trays of sweet pea. Now I've started with some of these. This is the first batch, that's the second batch, third and fourth are down there. Now as sweet pea gets bigger, you want to make it bush out. And the way you do that is to pinch them out. I use a pair of scissors. I mean, you could say they should be sharp scissors, but hey, scissors. I have to say, not brilliant germinations. There's a few here that haven't done at all, but all right. I'm only going to pinch the ones that need it. So these ones not yet. I'm looking for the third set of leaves. So 1, 2, 3 above there really. So I'm going to pinch this one off up there. Same here. 1, 2, 3 there and there. 1, 2, not quite. There. That one's going to go. Oops, sorry, I missed the camera there. And this one, see how they're flopping over because they're not bushy enough. And I'm sipping away, they don't, it doesn't have to be too crazy. Now what will happen is, can you see, good example, right, so on this one here, you see how I pinch at the top. So here and here, that's where you'll get more shoots out once you pinch at the top. So that's why you want to do it. I've done some of these, but not all of them. And let's have a look at one I've done before to show you the benefit of doing this. It's probably just starting, here we go. So this one here, look, this one here, where we now with the camera, right there. So this one, I've already done, and you see it's got a second shoot coming at the bottom. That's why you do it. So, try them all. On there as well, and that's it. And that'll get you some bushier and better sweet pea plants. It's all worth putting the effort in early doors, and think about it's nice and quiet. But the next few weeks are going to be crazy busy. So we are now, it's the 1st of March today, didn't say that earlier on, so we're right at the beginning of the season. March is a really busy month because we've got lots more seeds to sow in the garden, and we have to do a whole load of planting on. So every weekend's got something on. But that's it for today. The rest of my day I've got to, I think, cut some grass maybe, and I've got some hedge work to do. Not that exciting, so I'll do it off camera and maybe show you another time. There you go, trying to find a reasonable spot to sign off without the sun in my face. Look, thank you for watching today. I hope your tomatoes are going well. Post some pictures in your comments. But do comment, ask questions, let's chat. Please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video next weekend. Bye-bye.